Lardner, where crews are setting up for the 2019 World Jousting Championships. This is Lardner, Victoria, Australia, the opposite side of the planet from where jousting was created. So what are the championships doing here, and what can we expect come Saturday? Let's go find out.
Hi, I'm Andrew McKinnon. I'm the event producer for the World Jousting Championships 2019 at Lardner Park, Victoria. The World Jousting Championships is being held in Australia because there is a fairly well-developed jousting community in the country. Don't forget that as much as Australia is a place that doesn't have any geological history of medieval stuff, culturally there's quite a lot of cultures from the west of Europe who brought with them the stories of knights and their culture with them, and so I think a lot of people find that quite evocative. And as it stands at the moment, the current World Jousting Champion is Philip Leach from Victoria, so Australians certainly punch above their weight when it comes to being proficient at jousting. I've had it said to me in jousting that every championship is a world championship, but to be honest, with the World Jousting Championships, we use a particular style of lance, which is a historical solid lance, unlike a lot of the other styles. I mean, there's Americans use a completely different system and they call their guy that won it the world champion, but what we have is a truly international competition with the best jousters from pretty much every continent in the world. For us, the horse's safety is paramount in the running of these events. We do this because we want to, and they do it because, we ask them to. They're all incredibly highly trained. You can't get horses to do this unless they are absolutely trusting you, and you only earn a horse's trust by treating them with respect and having a great relationship with them. We have 7 competitors in the World Jousting Championships. We have competitors from Norway, Canada, Russia, the Netherlands and France, as well as 2 Australians, including Phil Leach, the current world champion.
My name is Philip Leach and I'm the current WJC World Champion.
My name is Pierre Stein. I am the current European champion.
How are you finding the lead up to the championship?
It's quite tricky. It's been really wet and miserable here for a couple of days, so this is the first real bit of good weather, we'll call it, that we've had, so we're making the most of it and getting out there and breaking some sticks.
Australia has been cooler than I'm used to. Normally we're up around Brisbane or in Sydney, and this has been rather cool, but I always enjoy my trips to Australia.
How does a competition like this work?
So the idea in jousting is that you charge at each other with the idea to break your lance on your opponent, and you'll score points based on where you hit and how well you hit. So if you just break a little bit of your lance, you might get 1 point. If you knock your opponent to the ground, you might get a bunch of points. So yeah, it's all based on that.
What struck me most about the competitors here is exactly how much of a global group this is, and how much travel do you guys do for these competitions?
I usually travel once or twice a year internationally and do some big jousts within Australia as well, and I think that's fairly normal for most international travellers.
Yes, 2 or 3 jousts a year is fairly normal. It is quite an undertaking to go for a joust abroad. It's expensive travel, as you would expect. We're carrying quite a lot of luggage, and it's also very taxing for both the person and equipment.
What drew you to become jousters? Is that the right word?
Yeah. That's the perfect word. First, why wouldn't you want to be a knight if you could? But second, I was tricked into it by my wife, who made me start riding. And then, of course, when I was riding, I wanted to fight on horseback. And the first group I found that did anything near that did jousting. So that's me done.
So you fell into it, basically?
Oh yeah, you could call it that. But most of us come from rather, physically tough backgrounds, like we are soldiers or stuff like that. Quite a lot of these guys are. So it's an extreme sport, and it catches that sort of people.
Yeah, I've always had a strong passion about the Middle Ages and knights in general. So I kind of just really wanted to feel what it was like to be in armour on a horse, doing that sort of thing, and the only way to really know what it was like was to do it, so that was what drew me.
You guys were giving demos to school kids before, and I'm assuming you do this basically, probably a lot of places you go, is you have kids coming up or people just wanting to learn. How is the usual response from people when they find out that you do what you do?
Yeah, well, it's not just for the kids as well. It is one of those activities that seems to get the young people and the adults. But it is, it's like looking at a younger me a lot of the time when I'm talking to the kids in the audience that are particularly excited about the activity.
It seems like the cross between the art, which all the armor and stuff represents, and the violence, but normally with no blood attached to it. That looks like it hits home for both kids and parents. Quite a lot of dads come over afterwards and they're like, "Oh yeah, that got me, that got me going."
It seems an odd question to ask, but if people are interested in doing this stuff, who do they approach? How do they get into it?
It can be a very tricky sport to get into, but the main and most difficult aspect of it is the riding. So anywhere people can find access to riding lessons and riding horses is the place to start. And other than that, it's a worldwide community. So we talk and learn and share ideas with each other online a lot. And that's kind of like, because it's a small community, we have to sort of like go around the globe to get enough people with enough knowledge to keep the sport growing.
Safety is a big thing. Do you guys, is it scary to be running at each other, or have you got used to that by now?
It is scary. I think it's a kind of scare that you can't get used to. If you're not scared when you're out here doing this, you need to quit immediately, because it's going to be really dangerous then.
It's a team effort too, the horse and yourself. How much does it take to build that trust between you and the horse?
It kind of depends a bit on the horse and the rider. Like some people get along really well and other personalities clash, and there's no different between people as it is with horses and riders. So a good part of the lead up to an event like this is we're putting different nights on different horses, the ones that aren't able to bring their own, and find out which are good pairings and are going to get along well with each other.